Okay, I believe we are live right now. Yeah, we are live.
Yay.
Okay.
Hi everyone on the multiverse.
Nice. Okay, we are going to just give a little bit more time to probably some of the audience that going to be tuning in. So very happy to have Alex here this afternoon. Alex, all the
Hi.
way from KL, Malaysia.
Hi Joe. Hi everyone.
Yeah, this Saturday afternoon is going to be a casual one, just really a chat, conversation. And we want to tap on the different expertise. And this is going to be something that I hope to do very regularly. So very honored to have the first one kick off with Alex this afternoon. Maybe Alex, invite you to just introduce yourself a little bit before I also introduce myself.
So thanks for the invite, Joe. You are always somebody that I see who is very creative in finding ways to engage people and putting up a lot of great content. Very honored and happy to be here with you. My name is Alex Tan. I'm the founder of a leadership and coaching consultancy. So most of the people know me for my coaching work, executive coaching work, very lucky to work with a lot of so-called leaders in organization, multinationals in the area of applying coaching at the workplace. But at the same time, I am also a parent, right? I have a 10-year-old daughter. So I'm also very fond of the topic of discussion today. How do we apply coaching in parenting?
Yep. And interestingly, Alex, do you remember where we first met?
I think for us it's our coaching conference, I suppose, right? In Germany, right?
Yeah. So for some of y'all who may not know, Alex and myself, we got to know each other really through a very, very special arrangement. And it was really all because of our passion and our interest in this solution-focused approach, which both of us are actually trained and specialized in. So we met, was that, I think, 2017, right? Is it 2017?
I think it's 2017.
In
2017 or 2018? 2017. I can't remember.
So we were actually attending a conference all the way in Germany, Frankfurt, and that was 2017. And we were there at a World Conference, solution-focused practitioners, and everyone was there. So it was really amazing experience. And that was where I first met Alex. And so a little bit about myself. I'm actually working in the children and youth space. I've been doing so for the last 17 years. And it's really, really a interesting journey and experience for me. And just recently, I've decided to come out on my own and to do something, for parents and for youth and for young people on my own, starting out my private practice. So it's really an exciting time. And I hope that this sharing session will really be helping and helpful to, parents. So let's jump in, today, this afternoon, right? I thought that I want to just tap onto the, Alex, your experience first as a parent and then second as a coach, right? In terms of your own parenting journey, maybe you want to share with us a little bit, how has your parenting journey been like in the past? And maybe now, what's the difference?
I think this topic has always been a fascinating topic. And one of the things that I think is good to put into context is parenting is an ever evolving kind of a journey, right? The way we parent toddler from 1 to 3, 3 to 8, 3 to 10, and then 10 to 16. And then when our kids are in our 20s, parenting style changes, right? So I think just to put into context, I think what a lot of literature, right, they lump everything together. Parenting is just across all ages. I personally don't view it like that. As a coach and as a parent, I think mainly as a coach first, I think it's very essential that I don't see parenting as us being in the driver's seat. I think that's the biggest difference in my learning, as a coach. As a coach, I learned that parenting is a journey of learning together with your children. Whereas in the old way, we are the parent. We are in charge of telling and grooming and teaching and giving the instructions and all the lessons to our kid. And they follow us because we know better, because we are older, because we're parents, right? So my perspective of parent is very different. I always treat it as a partnership between me and my daughter, right? When every encounter with her is also an opportunity to learn from her, and more so to learn about myself, right? I think just a simple example, becoming a parent definitely, taught me to be more patient, right? Before becoming a parent and after becoming a parent, totally different paradigm, because, when they're young, they don't have, cognitive skills, they don't have intellect, the benefit of education. So they start from ground zero, and we already have like 30 years of our life, right? And then how do you pass down all this knowledge, to your children within a short period of time?
Nice. And already some ideas are already popping out, in terms of as a parent and also what you do as coaches, right? Collaboration, we invite, we don't tell, we really just be their position to, get them on board.
Yeah.
Very nice. And like myself, like Alex, myself, I'm also a parent, and then I have two boys, and Alex have one beautiful girl. So my two boys are, one is 10 and one is 12. So they are really at the age where, pushing the limits and just being funny. So I think I'm just thinking, the things that we learned, as coaches, how are some of these skills and some of these ideas transferable to parents out there this afternoon who is watching this, or maybe, after today, is that I was just thinking, how much it would have made a difference if parents today are also able to apply some of these coaching ideas, in terms of the thinking behind a coach. So maybe Alex would just share with us, what would be some ideas you feel, or skills that can be transferable from a coach to a parent?
Yeah, I think for me to answer that question, Joe, I've always had this so-called analogy that a lot of parents, they use whatever that they are used to at work, as a supervisor, as a manager at work, right? You're used to that. They're used to managing people. And let's make a simple assumption, make a simple blanket assumption where a lot of times by the time that you are a parent, you're also managing other people, simple assumption, right? And what I think has happened is we create a DNA of telling, supervising, completing tasks. And when you come back to home, because that is what you are very comfortable with, and that's something that you use all the time. When you parent, you're also using the parent supervisor parenting style. What do I mean by that? When we parent, very often you will come back from home and you will ask, have you finished your homework? Have you showered? Have you eaten dinner? Have you washed the laundry? These are all very familiar things that you will do as a manager, because the first thing you go to work, you will be, going through your task list, and then you'll be checking with your subordinate. Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? And if you have not, then you start to troubleshoot. Right, and be gone on your way. Whereas as a coach parent, I think it's very different. You don't go in trying to measure completion of tasks. So very quickly, I think one of the coaching skills that we can use is just partnering with our children and expanding their day. Rather than asking, have you completed this or completed that? Start with the first notion that the moment you come in, you don't have to make sure that they have done things. This is the obsession. I use the word obsession by a lot of parents. The moment they come in, they always ask, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Now, where does that come from? Why isn't it that, why don't we come back home and start asking, hey dear, hey darling, hey honey, how was your day? right? And if they say okay, which majority of children will say okay, oh, what is okay? Tell me about it. And you start inviting, right? Which is very different from a supervisor. What do you mean okay? You didn't do anything, man. You know, then you become very intimidating. You become very demanding in wanting people, you know, to tell you something very similar to what we do in the office.
Yeah. And thanks for pointing it out, Alex. Really, I do also hear some of the parents, they come back from a full day of work, you know, and when they transit back to home, they are just carrying their manager's hat and their role
Yeah.
as an employee or as a boss or whatever, and then they carry into that home space. So it's just like continuing that same mode, and they forgot how to wind down. They don't know how to kind of like become
Yeah.
more nurturing, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, but honestly speaking, it's also not easy. So would you have any like tips for our audience today who are parents to know how to make this transition?
I always say the first thing is understanding what is the coaching mindset or the coach's mindset. And, you know, just a few generic headlines, you know, what makes a coach a coach? For example, I did mention, I think to be a coach, you want to be engaging. You want to ask, right? I think one of the fundamental when I first started to become a coach is understanding this concept of your client or your children already has all the answers within them, right? We become an enabler to allow them to become who they need to be. And I think that will be the first absolute tip that I will tell all parents, because that removes your ego.
Yep.
So if I were to say anything to any of the parents listening in, right? If you want to be a good parent coach, right? Remove that ego that you are the parents, therefore you are the master at home, right? Because as a coach, you don't give yourself this luxury that what I say is the be all and end all, right? That they know if what I say is absolute. And when they ask why, because I said so. You know, it's very common. I hear parents use this word on their children, because I say so.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's a very old mindset, you know, but as a coach, you want to engage them. You want to engage them and reason with them. When you tell them something, they want to do and they agree with you, because that journey requires a lot of partnering, requires a lot more patience from you. Right. And I hear a lot of parents giving me I will be very blunt when I say this, very nonsensical excuses. You very need a lot of patience. Well, need a lot of time. I tell them straight away do. You know, so they're using the work context. You know, in the work context, you want to be efficient, you want to be fast, you want to get things done. Then my question is, hey, you are a manager to your kid, or are you a parent to your kid? Where's the hurry? Well, where's the hurry? Where's the KPI that you need to complete things fast, right? So as a coach, you invite, you remove your ego that you have the answer. You use a lot of patience, and then you engage and allow the children to tell you what they want and what they learn, rather than you telling, right? So that would be one of the major tips that I'll say to a lot of parents. Yeah.
Thanks. To those who are listening in right now on Facebook Live, in case you have any comments or you have questions for Alex, please, or myself, please feel free to drop it in the comments box, okay? And yeah, I mean, today is really touching on how can we parent differently. And so we just want to, you know, draw from this idea that we can be many things to our parents, to our kids. But one of these things that we hope that we can be is really to be more like a coach to them in certain instances, right? So like what Alex has brought up, really we want to be careful how we come in, you know, into that home space and environment. We don't want to wear our manager's hat. We don't want to be like a boss or a employee that's still at the workspace. And then when we come in, we want to carry a different notion, a different mindset. So, and then learn how to transit. Yeah, I think that's very nice. And Alex, so would you say that for parents today, if they want to kind of like really start working on this mindset, how can they, begin this journey? Where can they turn to, or who can they turn to?
I think definitely, please, I am just plugging for Joe. I think I'll use a very modern answer, right? The old way people say, read up some books, attend webinar, attend online course, and all that I think is fine and dandy, but that only works for people who are really, really disciplined and very, very determined, or you already have a learner's DNA within you. My fastest tip is, follow people that are on social media, on Instagram. The modern way is, you follow podcasts, you follow Telegram. Definitely must follow Joe, because this concept of micro learning, right? Because I'm very particular about this. Learning has to be embedded in small sizes every day and all the time. I don't believe, I put it on record, I don't believe 30-day challenges, 60-day challenges, because that doesn't answer, right? After 30 days, then how? No need to do anymore, is it? Right? As a parent, you want to be continuously growing, right? Continuously growing. So you must create micro habits that allow you to be part of your learning system or wanting to become a better coach. So therefore, you want to follow content provider where they, but don't just follow one. Follow a few people where they continuously reinforce this concept of, parents as coach or just coaching. So this week I'll be hearing from, let's say Joe talking, this week you're here listening to us, right? And then you follow another few coaches, could be on LinkedIn, could be on YouTube channel. Then that's what I call many touch point. And that's, I think, how people evolve and how people learn, right? You hear one technique today, oh, that's one touch point, because today only we have 30 minutes. You're not gonna significantly change, your skills in 30 minutes, right? But if you have every day, you listen to a good coach, talk about parenting and coaching for 10 minutes, right? Every day, 10 minutes, or every week, 3 times, right? That's how you start slowly to evolve. My style is create micro learning, right? And then starting micro habits. But the seeding, so I come back to the word. I think the seeding, wanting to seed this intention to become a better coach, makes a huge difference, Joe.
Wow, that's really, really very, very true. Because we really have seen many parents, they come, they go, but they just don't have the staying power to really, really work on things fundamentally. And some of these fundamentals cannot be done in a short span of time. We don't become a parent overnight. It's just impossible, and don't even mention being an effective parent. So so micro learning, coming to the basics, just having many multiple touch points, even having somebody to walk through with you, right? I think that's one very key idea on how we as coaches, we ourselves even learn to pick up some of this. So Alex, we are coming towards the end of this session here. If you were to give our audience 3 things, 3 key ideas that every parent should consider, or at least minimally try to be effective, as a parent coach, what would you kind of like leave with our audience?
I think definitely start with yourself, right? To become a good coach, I think I circle back to what I say. You need to be humble, to tell yourself that while you are in this world and you are the parent of children, right? But I always believe when we become parent, it didn't come with a manual, right? Joe, a lot of this parenting thing is a lot of trial and error, and nobody really have an answer. Even until today, like we have 7 billion. Who has the silver bullet in parenting? I don't think there's such a thing, because parenting is about your children and you, and it's very dynamic and ever changing, right? So I think the first thing is, after you hear what we say here, and then one of the first tips is becoming humble again, and tell yourself, like, every day that as a parent, I'm learning to become a better parent. And therefore, I want to have this learning desire to become a better parent. Therefore, you remove this statement like, I say so, right? When your children ask you, why must I follow you? Because I say so, because I'm a father. And being very humble just because you're a father or a mother, that doesn't give you the right, to command an absolute thing, because I believe so, therefore you must do it, right?
Yeah.
The second one, of course, I'm very biased. I'll put a disclaimer. I will always say, work with a coach yourself. Hire someone like Joe, talk to someone like me, get yourself trained. Because when you work with a partner, right? Someone like Joe, as a coach, partner, a coach to parents, a coach doesn't become the parent, doesn't tell you how to become a parent. A coach partners you on how do you evolve to become a better parent. And that is a journey, right? So I could say, I think generalize it, not just a coach, maybe find a partner. So it could be a mentor, right? It could be a buddy, a parenting buddy. It's like your church group, right? You always have a meetup, right? Why do you have a meetup? Because you can learn by yourself, but when you learn with other people, there are other things that you are learning as well, right? And thirdly is just remembering that when you are at home, be a parent, don't be a manager, right? Ask yourself, what does it mean to be a parent at home? What would you do differently? What would you start noticing that is very different than you becoming a manager, supervisor at work, at home versus a coach parent at home? Yeah.
Thanks, Alex. And really, really very helpful. Right. First, we start with our mindset, right? Understanding, be first humble ourselves as an individual. We don't boss, we don't lord over. And then, we really, really have to be bite-sized learning, keep going, work with somebody, be coach, receive inputs, have a mentor. And really coming back to some of this. And we have a comment here by James in the chat box, which also agrees with you, Alex mentioning that bite-sized mirror learning makes a lot of difference, and parenting is trial and error. Do what works and tweak what doesn't. I think very, very true.
Right. I mean, just coming back to our solution-focused practice, I thoroughly believe in what James just said. Do what works and repeat it. Repeating success or what is working is equally impactful than fixing what is not working, right? Because you have come a long way. You have become a parent. For me, I'm a 10-year-old parent. There must be certain things that's already working, right? So our job is, rather than, maybe the final tip is, I believe there's a lot of people who like to have the tendency to ask, right? Oh, what are the challenges that you have with your children? I like to hear other people's challenges. I just want to highlight to everybody watching, right? Listening to other people's challenges can give you a high, but it's totally not practical, because what challenges that people have may not be the challenge that you will have, number one, right? It's nice to hear, but you don't want to attract people's parents. That's number one, right? But you want to attract what work well for people. So you want to start asking other parents, hey, what worked well in your parenting with your children? Why? Because when you ask what worked well, then you can practice what worked well. If you ask about challenges, you are essentially trying to avoid, right? You're trying to not to do that mistake. Now, you cannot become better at something by avoiding it, right? People say practice makes perfect, right? You cannot be better at avoiding things that you don't do, because you don't do it. You're just avoiding, oh, that's a mistake. That's a fallacy. Hey, don't do that. Don't be an angry parent. So how do you practice not to be an angry parent, right? It's very hard. So it's better to practice how to be a patient parent, because that work. Right? So riding on what works well, ask people on what works well, and ask yourself, can I apply what works well with other people to my own parenting style? So yeah.
Thanks, Alex. We will be kind of like wrapping up this Saturday afternoon. Really thanks for your time. And I just want to also do a shout out for Alex as well. Over here, that Alex actually is running a lot of training and also consulting for companies, corporates, and organization. So actually, Alex specializes in leadership and coaching. Maybe Alex, you want to tell us a little bit more what you specialize in?
Yeah, I think, Joe, maybe to make it easier, right? I made a resolution this year to create more content in coaching, in leadership, right? So one of the things that I really appreciate anybody listening in, go find my YouTube channel. I know I'll put it in the chat box later, my YouTube channel, where I have committed every Tuesday and Thursday, I will be creating bite-sized learning. What I call micro learning on personal disruption and leadership and disruptive leadership methodology. And that's what I do with organization today in my coaching as well. I personally believe as a result of global pandemic, right? In the past, if you don't mind me saying, a lot of people pay lip service to VUCA, volatile, uncertain, very nice on interview, but what do you do differently? Right, everybody do the same, they read the book, same book, that's 30 years ago, use the same technique, talk about the same model. I don't believe in that. I believe that as a result of this global pandemic, not just Singapore, Malaysia, it's all around the world, right? We need to start disrupting our mindset and the way we look at things.
Yep.
And I will do that together with you, because every week I'm going to disrupt myself and come up with new way of thinking patterns. I put it in the chat box, and then we can get connected, right? Thank you so much, Joe, for today. I absolutely have fun. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, I will also definitely share the link for Alex's YouTube channel, and then do follow, subscribe to it. Okay. So, and then for myself as well, I just also want to do a shout out. So if you are a parent this afternoon here watching or tuning in, and you find that some of these ideas that's being shared is useful and is helpful, and you would really like to explore further how you can apply in your parenting journey, feel free to reach out to me. Just drop me a note, drop me a DM, right? I'm able to offer you a free Zoom consultation, just to really figure out what works and what will fit. And also a very special offer, actually. From now to the end of the month, I'm offering 20% discount on my coaching services. Yeah, so just drop me a note, get connected, and then I'm more than happy to see how I can be of help to your parenting journey. Okay, so thanks everyone for tuning in, and I hope that this time of the year, at the start of the year, let's get it right. Do something different if you expect a different outcome. You cannot do the same and expect a different outcome. It's just impossible. Okay, so thanks, and we will end it off right here. And look forward to the next month. I'm going to have another guest going to come on live with me. Okay, thanks everyone. I will see you all soon.